Hello everyone, this is Berto Prey 5 here. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. Apparently King Waspinator started a video talking about a fan-made, at least a fan a fan thought out, not fan made, but plans from fans for a future Star Trek that, to just put up that, hey, we could do it better than STD. And King Waspinator talked about his general plan, which was to go about 80 years in the future after Voyager returns home, and some type of mega carrier ship with super engines that's going to be the first to go to the Andromeda Galaxy. So really to take Star Trek to the next level and leave the Milky Way for the first time, minus those episodes in TNG where the Traveler takes the Enterprise around the universe and Q and Voyager puts Voyager at the Big Bang and anywhere else crazy. But, in canon and in actual track timeline, leave the Milky Way for real. Then Anti-Tracker did a response video where he talked about his ideas, which, just thinking back to the video, you wanted to find some way to roll back the technology. Anti-Tracker, and I think it's a legit issue, is that by the time Voyager gets back, technology is just so advanced. We've got replicators, we've had them since TNG times at least. You've got a blade of armor, you've got weapons that could destroy the Borg in one shot, or 4 shots, however you want to think of it, from first contact. The technology is a little out of control, and some of the best sci-fi these days in the last 10-15 years is the technology is not all that far advanced. The Expanse, Battlestar Galactica, the 2004 version, the tech isn't what we see in the Next Generation. It isn't even what we see in the original series. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you think of it, there's no real way in keeping with Star Trek canon to roll back to TOS level tech. But the thing is, Deep Space Nine took place after TNG, and Anti-Tracker himself has mentioned DS9 felt more like the Enterprise from TOS than from TNG, because when things broke, O'Brien had to get his hands dirty to fix things. We could sympathize with O'Brien when he had to fix something. He had to get his hands dirty. He's changing stem bolts or power conduits. He's got to open things up. He's not just running a stage 1 diagnostic and waiting for the computer to tell him everything's done. So, Deep Space Nine took place after TNG, but you still had the feeling that the technology needed human upkeep. It needed maintenance. So I don't think that it's necessarily out of the realm of possibility that this future starship, especially one with galaxy transversing powers, will need more physical maintenance than diagnostics. And Waspinator also brought up something I really liked. And in fact, I was thinking of it, and then he brought it up. So it's still his idea. I was hoping I'd be able to make it my part, but it's his. It might not be just a Federation ship. This is a tremendous undertaking. I think we've got Romulans involved. Personally, I would like to see Klingons involved. Maybe Cardassians, maybe Bajorans, Ferengi, who knows? But basically, a number of races we've seen from the Alpha Quadrant, the Beta Quadrant, and possibly even the Delta Quadrant. Waspinator said Borg. I don't know. I don't know if the Borg really even still exist, and even if they do exist, if you can honestly put them in any situation where they can coexist with the other races. But maybe a Delta Quadrant race. I'm not sure who, but maybe we can find one, and they can come along too, because 80 years post Voyager, you would hope. In fact, Q at one point says in Voyager that humans aren't supposed to be in the Delta Quadrant for another 100 years. So 80 years after Voyager, you're pretty close to Q's timeline as to when humanity was supposed to get to the Delta Quadrant. So you figure another 80 years, you have to be traveling around the galaxy as easily as you travel around a quadrant at the start of TOS, at least at the start of TNG. Okay, so I laid out where we are between Waspinator and Anti-Tracker. What would I add? I like going to the new galaxy. I'm not sure what we do once we get there. Waspinator suggested that the progenitors had seeded the Milky Way with humanoid life, that maybe all the life in this new galaxy is really alien, more alien than we're used to in Star Trek. They don't breathe oxygen, they don't look humanoid. And while that sounds good, I honestly don't think it would make for good television. I think you've got, you can't converse with a methane breathing alien. Somebody's got to be in a suit. And if they're not humanoid, yeah, it's interesting for an episode or two, but I mean, it's too much. I mean, how do you make ships for non-humanoids? I would see it for a little bit, but I don't think I could come back to that show for 10 or 20 episodes a season for 6 or 7 seasons. And I mean, the budget on special effects would be astronomical. So, the progenitors were well more advanced than the Federation, even 100 years post-Voyager. So if they seeded the Milky Way, who's to say they didn't seed the other galaxies too? at least the ones nearby. I really want them to get to Andromeda, and there's nothing alive. There's nothing there. Maybe there's a few proto-culture humanoids, but I think they find no technology, nothing advanced, nothing past the Stone Age. And they've got a mystery on their hands, and they need to unravel what happened. Maybe they find evidence of a past civilization, something that rivaled the Federation, and they're gone. And they need to try and piece together what happened. Maybe they interact with some of the alien cultures, because the alien cultures that still exist, even though they're in some primitive Bronze Age or Stone Age, so their myths and their legends and their history talk about, in vague detail, kind of the rise and fall of, the Second Federation, or the Confederation of Andromeda. And, maybe we're 1 or 2 seasons in before they find anyone even close to Federation level of technology, and they probably wouldn't even really be ready for technical first contact. But hey, they've got to resupply. They've got to talk to somebody, because they get there and they're not finding the resources that they hope to find. I mean, yeah, they can get water from a planet. They can get, I suppose they have some way of mining dilithium, but maybe there's no dilithium to be found. Maybe this other civilization used it all, and so I think their real epic struggle over, I don't know how long, but it's really just going to be that they didn't plan to get there and find nobody. I think for whatever reason they've got to struggle to find their way home, and it's not like Voyager, because it's not like they get there and they turn around and they've got to wait, hope to get home quicker than the time it's supposed to take. But they're really there. They start looking into this mystery, and they find some clues along the way, and long term, I think they find something that they realize is a threat to the Federation, and they have to figure out either how to stop it in Andromeda before it gets to the Milky Way, or they have to, at the end, try to beat it back to the Milky Way, somehow warn the Federation that something really bad is incoming. I'm not sure. Like, today we're looking at Andromeda. Obviously we're using telescopes. It's at light speed, so what we're seeing in Andromeda left, let's see, how far away is Andromeda? Alexa, how far away is the Andromeda Galaxy?
Andromeda Galaxy's distance is 2,540,000 light years.
2,540,000 light years. So what we see of Andromeda today, and indeed what they'll be seeing with their telescopes, is 2.5 million years old. Sure, we know they have subspace technology in the future, but I don't know that subspace technology will help them see Andromeda any better. Because I just don't think that there's subspace sensors that would go that far. So I still think they're probably limited to visual observations, and they're still going to be 2.5 million years behind. So what they see before they leave the Milky Way is 2.5 million years old. A lot could happen to that galaxy in 2.5 million years. I mean, they could get there, it could be half gone. It could be a totally different shape. It could be gone. I mean, it could just be gone completely. Or all the stars could be dark. Anything could happen. And so really, that's my 2 cents. That the next Star Trek, they do travel to Andromeda, but they get there and it is not the mission they signed up for. And let's back up a bit. Let's say we ignore my plan that you get to Andromeda and it's dead, or it's dying, or whatever. If we did get to Andromeda, if they get to Andromeda and they find it, a very similar galaxy as the Milky Way, with advanced races around and other ships using some type of faster than light travel, what are you going to do? I mean, because you send all those ships, that doesn't look like you're coming to say hello. I mean, the way Waspinator described it, I believe, he was talking about setting up colonies. I mean, how would the Federation take it if a bunch of alien ships showed up one day from another galaxy? Like, oh, we're here to claim some planets. We're here to set up a colony. Like, I don't think so, buddy. This is already, they don't want to be the Native Americans. Okay, this is already claimed. We have this. We're not going to just let you set up a colony. We've seen how that goes down. And that's not going to happen. Like, hi, you want to say hi? We can maybe exchange some culture. You can read some of our books, see some of our plays, and Mr. Data can sing you a song or something. But no, you're not going to set up a colony 5 light years from Earth. And that's not going to happen. And the Klingons aren't going to welcome you. The Romulans aren't going to welcome you. Cardassians aren't going to welcome you. The Bajorans aren't going to welcome you. The Ferengi probably won't welcome you. Maybe you could buy something from them, but they won't welcome you for long, because you're going to run out of money eventually. And I don't know what race is going to say, yeah, come set up a bunch of colonies in our space. So that's kind of absurd. It's kind of absurd to think that if they got there and the races were of equal tech to the Federation, that they'd be okay with setting up colonies. If they were weaker, then the Federation could set up colonies, but it would kind of be like conquering a galaxy, which I'm not sure is in the Starfleet Charter. And if they were stronger than the Federation, well, they wouldn't be there very long. Maybe they destroy the supercarrier. They have a bad confrontation, and a superior race just boom destroys it, and the only ones left are these ships that can't get back. I mean, you could maybe get back from the Delta Quadrant, but you're not going 2.5 million light years. So maybe the story is just they travel and travel to find a planet, and they start their own federation, a separate federation that it might be 100 years or more before they ever get a chance to get a message back to the real federation. It's just another thing I was thinking of. It's very hard to limit yourself to one galaxy. So as a kid, I always imagined at some point, in Star Trek, they went from planet to planet or system to system, and in later tracks, they got through the galaxy, Gamma Quadrant, Delta Quadrant, and I just figured natural evolution. Star Trek, the next generation, they would be flying galaxy to galaxy instead of star system to star system. But it'd be very hard to just go between Andromeda and the Milky Way. Unless you could set up some type of wormhole that you had, maybe it's not a 5-minute ride like Deep Space Nine to the Gamma Quadrant, but maybe it's a year-long ride or something, that it's a commitment, but you can get back and forth somehow. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So my idea, just in summary, you get to the Andromeda Galaxy, things went bad somewhere. It's not what you expect. There's no advanced civilizations, almost none. It's very hard to find even a basic Bronze Age humanoid civilization. You've got to investigate. You go into multiple planets. Each planet has a small piece of the mystery of what happened. The fall of the Andromeda Confederacy. It's in the myths and legends of the various planets they find. They have to piece it together, and once they piece it enough together and they find maybe some abandoned sites, they realize that whatever took out this Andromeda version of the Federation, it's still around, it's still a threat, and it's headed to the Milky Way. And they either have to stop it in Andromeda, or they have to beat it back to the Milky Way with enough time to warn the Federation. And not just the Federation. Pretty much the entire Milky Way is going to have to stand united against this common enemy. And I think we have to have humanoid aliens. I like the idea of totally alien aliens, but as a practical matter, I just don't think they work for very long on TV. It would just get boring, in my opinion. Anyway, I know I've spoke for too long. I'm Birdo Prey 5. Going to try to do more videos in the future. Please check out my forum, juot.net. It's a general topic forum. Please only try it if you have a thick skin. It's mostly 30-something-year-old guys talking about guns, jeeps, politics, religion, all the fun topics. Sometimes television, food, really anything. It is an off-topic forum. Anything's allowed to be discussed, and I try to keep it pretty hands-off. So, you need a thick skin. It'd be great if you could check it out. If not, I understand. With that, I will sign off, and hopefully I get another video out quicker than last one I did, which was like